Can you hear us?
I can.
Unfortunately.
Where's the Queensland spirit now?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off-Field Drama Podcast. I'm Sauce.
I'm Berkey.
And here we are. We've got our man, the one and only,
the greatest,
the legend, episode 7, Alan Langer. How are you, mate?
Hi, guys, and I'm not sure about this off-field drama because I wasn't involved. Hopefully I wasn't involved in too much of that.
Nah, of course not. We know that.
We'll work that out throughout the show.
Welcome to the set. First time on the couches. Great to have you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It's always lovely to be at the Caxton, as we all know, but I'm not sure how to take this, but it's a different way to come to the Caxton.
Yeah. Sobering?
It is very sobering, which is good for a Monday afternoon anyway.
Exactly right. Yeah, happy to have you on board. Thank you.
No, looking forward to it, boys, and as long as you ask some decent questions, I'll be very happy.
We're full of decent, you know that.
Yeah.
Firstly, how was the weekend? How was a good win on Friday?
Yeah, it was a great win. We needed the win against the Rabbitohs. They're just out of the 8 now, which is disappointing for them. But for us, it was a great win. And it's, after the Origin series, we've had 2 wins. We had the Bulldogs into the Rabbits, and it was a tough series. The Origin series is always a tough series. And to get through that without injuries and to get most of our players back now, it's going to be good.
Yeah, good. Do you just want it? Sorry to be a prick, but just speaking to the mic, just so the shareholders can hear.
Yeah, sorry.
Can hear your wisdom. Sorry, mate. Berkey, he's prepared a list here.
I've got a bunch of questions for you, mate, that we'll slowly work into it.
We do our research.
Okay, and you've just made it up by the look of it.
It might be a bit daunting to look at, but, mate, it's nothing too much. I was there on Friday night. It's good playing there. What did the boys think of it?
Yeah, it's great. Sunshine Coast Stadium. The field was in great nick, and certainly it's a fast paddock, so it suited our game and certainly suited Reece Walsh the way he played.
Yeah.
He was just magic on the night, and he's got plenty of improvement in him, and he's just a great player. He's a great footy head, and it just showed again the other night. And I look back at the Origin series, not putting AJ Brimson to shame, or I think he's a great player in his own right, but missing Reece in that third game probably, and looking at the first 2 games in Origin, he was one of the better players for Queensland.
Yeah, you're right.
He's got that spark when he grabs the ball, just his speed.
The speed, and he just puts defence under so much pressure. He just the way he plays, and certainly, as I said before, as a footy head, he studies the game, who he's playing against, and certainly knows his footy and knows his way around the field.
What are you thinking with this side compared to maybe 06 or in your day? Do you see any comparisons? Do you see a premiership winning team or?
I do, but still they got a lot of work to do. But in saying that, they're off field and they're forming a great relationship in the team and team environment, which you need. And with Adam Reynolds, he's brought a lot. I thought he's brought a lot of structure to the club and certainly leadership. And with Kurt Capewell as well.
Yeah.
And then you got Paddy Carrigan and the Payne Haas coming through, and it's valuable. And certainly we've got some young guys coming through, and Dean Mariner, Jesse Arthur has been fantastic when he's filled in. So there's a lot of players there that are young. We've got a young squad, but you still need that leadership in Adam Reynolds, which is we've been honoured to have at the club. I still can't believe South let him go.
Yeah.
We laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. One of the best players for South, been there all his life since he was a junior. No problems on and off the field. A gentleman of the game, and they let him go. I just can't see the reasoning why.
And you get along well with him?
I get on great with him, and he's old school sort of player, and certainly but as I said before, he's great for the club, and that's what the Broncos needed.
Yeah.
Did you think what happened last year has ended up being a benefit this year, or obviously it wasn't the way we wanted it to go?
Well, the last few years the couple of years before last year was terrible. And we all know that, and a lot of clubs go through it, but last year I didn't think it was bad as a lot of people thought. We had a lot of really good run through the year. Origin period hurt us a bit, and then we had a couple of injuries, and just the last month we ran out of gas. I think a lot of the younger players playing week in, week out hit the wall a bit, and just the last month was not so good. So in saying that, we had improved, and it's proved this year that it's, looking back at that and looking back at that last month, we surely don't want to do that this year.
Yeah.
I was going to say, shout out to Kevy too, because
Yeah.
he copped a lot of shit last year. And
Well, he's copped a plenty over the last couple of
you're
years,
right.
and to his credit, he's stuck in there, and he's got the players he wanted, and certainly he's passionate. He's passionate about the Broncos. He loves the Broncos, and we had a lot of great times there together, and he wants to see that within these players, and he wants to see him, playing well, training hard, but enjoyment. Enjoyment's all part of any sport, which I think should be the number one priority. You still got to enjoy what you do, otherwise you don't do it. So in saying that, to Kevy's credit, he's stuck in there and he's hung in there, and he's doing a great job at the club.
Yeah. As you can see, we got the 6 More Songs shirts
Yes.
on for all those listening out there. Alfie's iconic 6 More Songs after Game 2 up here when they won the series this year.
he's
Mate.
telling us he can't go anywhere anymore now without someone
I know,
saying
it's
it.
people singing out of the in the crowd when I'm running out in the field. 6 more songs. What's the 6 more songs, Alfie? Give us 6 more songs, which is great. And I
Yeah.
think and I look back at them nights, and it's the last 2 years we've been lucky enough to win the Origin series and bring
Yeah.
the boys, because never in the past have the boys been able to go out or do anything after the game, or they've never seen Caxton Street
Like the good old days.
on the night of an Origin game, but to their surprise, bringing the bus up Caxton Street and stopping and actually coming into the Caxton has been the highlight of their couple of weeks in camp at Origin.
I think, like you said, the most important thing is to enjoy it, and that's part of it. And the players, I see them enjoying themselves. There's nothing wrong with it. They're just enjoying themselves after a win, and so they should.
Yeah, and the problem is these days, it's, as I said, they're human.
Yeah.
They want to enjoy, and especially winning. You got to enjoy winning, but certainly you've got to know when to stop. And there's a lot of cameras and a lot of people out there these days that take advantage of that, which it's hard to do. And if you really want to enjoy yourself, you just got to lock cameras away and just enjoy the night.
You'd be happy that social media wasn't around in your time.
Very happy. Very happy. I'm still alive and still happy and out of jail, so even better.
Can we touch on how the Origin camps between your playing days compare to what it's like now?
Well, the first 4 days were pretty structured,
Yeah.
drinking-wise structured, and then was trained after that. But it was tough, and I was only young coming from Ipswich. And I remember my first Origin game, I caught the train down from Ipswich to go into camp at the Roma Street Travel Lodge, and it was the first afternoon was go out with the one of your 4X reps. I think about 4 or 5 players went with 5 reps, and then you met up after a couple of hours. So it was a few drinks going around to the pubs doing promotional work, then meet up for dinner, and then it was going out. It was I think it was old Cafe Neon on the Thursday night or Wednesday night. I think it was Mary Street on the Thursday night, and then 2 nights down the coast. So
Yeah.
it was hard work for me because I wasn't a big drinker back in them days. So to keep up with the likes of Wally Lewis's, Gene Miles, Greg Dowlings, Colin Scotts, it was an eye opener for me.
Right. And now you've just taken the baton.
Yeah.
Well,
they trained
now I've grown up a big boy now, so I know what to do.
You show the way for the others.
I lead the way.
Yeah.
I'm the entertainment manager of the Origin team. So
I think my dad said he worked at the Criterion Bar.
yes.
You guys might have gone in there.
Oh, we've been there a couple of times,
Yeah.
mate. It's a little hideaway near the W, which is great.
So do they do anything like that nowadays that you can say? Or
No, they're not allowed to go out these days. So what we do is we just have a bit of a lock-in session where we just sit around a room, either get a bit of music or watch the races and play a few games,
Yeah.
drinking games and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
which the boys enjoy. And they have a good time. But it's about enjoying time around each other
other,
and getting
yeah.
to know each other, having a few drinks and taking the mickey out of each other, which is good.
Who stands out of this bunch?
Oh, Cameron Munster's one of the leaders, so
No surprise.
he's just as mad as me, so he's a junior Alf.
Yeah, good man.
Next entertainment manager.
He will be in years to come, but I've got a few years left,
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere, sure.
And what about Billy Slater? Obviously, we just are obsessed with him.
Yeah.
What makes him the coach that he is?
Well, he coaches the way he played. He's very professional what he does. He was a great trainer in his day, never left any stone unturned, and he does that with the way he coaches, and certainly gets around to the players, makes sure they are prepared to the best of their capabilities on that Wednesday night. And I look over the camps over the last 2 years he's been coaching. It's been great, and I'm just very lucky still to be involved in the camps and being involved with Origin. It's probably the greatest team's spirit I've ever seen, because they love going into camp, love being around each other, and have such a good time with each other.
Yeah, you can definitely see it. I mean, in the last couple of years and since Billy's come in, the camaraderie, I think you can just see it on the field.
It's been there for quite a while, and Mel Meninga started, and then Wayne Bennett and Kevy Wohlers, Paul Green. So it's been there, and the Queenslanders just love it. And New South Wales always say, it's all bullshit and that, but I think it's fair dinkum.
They don't get it.
They don't get it.
Yes.
And the guy, and certainly, I, as I said, I see it first hand, and just to see them, the way they get on and have such a good time together, enjoy each other's company, which comes back to the enjoyment, and that's why they play rugby league. I know there's a lot of money in the game these days, but the enjoyment I see they get out of it is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. And you still obviously enjoy on the field, being the trainer?
I love it. It's been part of the game I loved. I've played since I was 4 years old, 4.5 actually, big back row on them days at Ipswich.
Oh, shit, turn it up.
And then, but to see them there and being involved with the 3 best games of the year, going into camp with these guys, it's pretty surreal for me.
How do you go as a trainer? You don't like blood, I hear.
No, I don't like my own blood.
You don't like your own blood?
No, my own blood. So I don't like seeing big, massive cuts or anything like that. So if there is a big cut, I'll go out, see it, look at it, and then call the other main trainer over, the doctor, and he sorts that out.
I got some intel from Nussi about an incident at a racetrack on the way to a game, maybe?
Yes, it was
you saw some blood and...
Yeah, it was on the way to the and that was my blood. So,
Your blood.
So I was on the way to the grand final, because Wayne Bennett always said, don't change the routine. So myself and Trevor Gilmeister went to the races going out to the airport, because we used to catch a plane around 3 o'clock. So we used to go for the first 4 or 5 races and then head to the airport. And we had a horse racing called Pragon, and one bookie had about 5 to 1, 11 to 2, and then one bookie rolled it to 6 to 1. The race was just about to jump, so I've ran over to get the 6 to 1, and I've just ran into the bookie stand, and I've sort of hit my head, then I've felt the blood. I looked at it, and then I've collapsed. I've just fainted. So
Pre-grand final?
This is the day before, Saturday before the grand final, and then Trevor Gilmeister's run over thinking someone's king hit me before. But then I've come awake, and then, of course, the horse lost. So
Why did it come?
I couldn't even remember, but it didn't come in the first 3. I backed it to win anyway.
Yeah.
But in saying that, don't change your routine. But wasn't
Did you
a
win
great
the
day.
GF?
We won the grand final.
Haven't lost.
There we go.
That was in 92. That was
92.
So it was a great victory. We won 28-6. So it was a great day, and won the Clive Churchill that day. So
I guess we were touching on the 92 grand final. That was obviously, was that the Tina Turner one?
I think she might have come out in the 93.
93,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, but 92 was a wonderful victory for the Broncos, and certainly for the whole town and supporters. And I've got to say, the support the Broncos have had this year, once they've started to win again, and there's no been better, I think, numbers at the stadiums.
Yeah.
I think crowd numbers there. I think corporate support of gone through the roof, and the merchandise has just gone through the roof. So it's great for the Broncos. And personally, I think when the Broncos are winning, the comp's going well. And we just look at the competition now, how close it is. It's wonderful for the game. And I think crowd numbers are up all over the game. So I think, and it gets back to the Broncos playing well and playing the football they play. I think hopefully there's semi-final bound.
Yeah, I think so. I think, even seeing it here at the pub, it's twofold what it does for here and speaking to other people. I think what it does for Brisbane, and it's that simple. I think that there's a bit of a spark in and around the city with other industries and whatever else.
And we got to say, we got to think the Dolphins coming in has promoted that as well. I think with them coming in, they got their support. And the Broncos they've come out of the woodwork to support their team.
Well, we're over 40,000 members now, I think.
Yeah, it is. So, they're aiming for 50,000. So it'd be great to get to that. But I'm saying 40,000 is a lot for a footy club, which is great for the Broncos. So the club, the people upstairs are doing a great job, and the players are doing a fantastic job at the moment.
Yeah.
And the win against the Dolphins, we've got both wins. They'd be happy. Get it over Wayne.
Yeah, it's always happy to beat Wayne, but we stay in touch. But in saying that, Redcliffe have played very well against us as well. And Katoni Stokes just scored that try at the end, and we just got away with the game at the Gabba a few weeks ago. So in saying that, they're always going to be a tough opposition, and I know with Wayne, he's always going to lift the Dolphins when they play the Broncos.
Any voicemails to Wayne?
I haven't been too many lately. So I've been off the drink for the last couple of weeks after the Origin period, so I just got to get my body sorted out after back to where it was. So it's a tough campaign, that Origin period. It's 3 camps, 10-day camps, so it's very hard work. And having players like Nate Miles, Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, Billy in the camp, so...
Is that cool, having that band back together from the dynasty?
Oh, I think it's great. It's great for the team, and they know what State of Origin's all about. So they know how to get the players motivated, lifted, and managed to get them right for the Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Can we? I want to touch on. There's a lot of our fans out there. We call the shareholders.
Yes.
As you might have known, he's got no idea, does he?
Well. You got no shareholders on your shirt. You only got 6 more songs.
We're working on it. Now, the big one was obviously that call in 2001, the SOS that Wayne put out to you. Can you sort of touch on that a little bit for us? Yeah,
well, that's probably the best week of my life, my football life. Never expecting to come back and play Origin football. I always wanted to come back and play for the Broncos when I went to England, because I left on a bad note, retired halfway at the start of the season, when I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And then when I signed to go over to England, I always wanted to come back and have a season with the Broncos. So I was lucky enough to do that. But to get that call and play in 2001 for that last game, getting the call from Wayne Bennett was pretty special. He rang me on one Saturday morning, seeing if because we normally spoke every week, so... It was just a regular phone call, and after a while he said, "Oh, how would you like to come back and play in the third game?" I said, "What took you so long to ask?" So I said yes straight away, but then I had to go okay it with Darryl Vandervelde, who's coaching myself at Warrington, and he had to okay it with the Warrington board, and then Wayne Bennett had to go back and okay it with the New South Wales Rugby League back then to see whether they could let an English-based player come back and play over here for the Origin. So that took until the Thursday. He rang back and everything was okay. So Darryl Vandervelde okayed it on our end, so I had to play on the Friday night over there. Flew out on the Saturday morning, arrived Sunday afternoon, and went into the camp on the Monday. So it was the best camp I've ever had, the best preparation I've ever had for a game, because I knew it was a one-off. It was one of those things that Queensland needed to win that series after, if you remember that series they lost before and they threw the bomb and New South Wales were going to have the dynasty and everything. So Queensland really need to win that year. So it's probably the best I've ever prepared for a game before, and the week, the build-up, the hype. I think the British Lions were playing
the Wallabies.
The Wallabies at the Gabba the night before, and then we played
ANZ, was it?
ANZ on the Sunday night. So it was amazing. Even when I come over, because Jeremy Guscott, the great English centre, was on the plane with me. He was coming out to commentate the Union. So it was just a great week and hype, and just being back with the boys that I've played with before, or most of them I've played with before, and to go out that game and have such a great victory was pretty special.
No drinking on that plane back, or
no, I was lucky. I was in
Shit.
business class. I had to stretch my legs, because I needed a bit of leg room. But no, it was the longest trip because I couldn't sleep because you're always thinking about what was going to happen and how it was going to happen and how things were going to turn out. But it turned out fantastic, and it was probably the longest trip back as well, because it was just. I stayed for a couple of days. The hardest was 2 days at the Brecky Creek with the great Tommy Raudonikis after it, celebrating. And to go back there, and it's amazing a difference in rugby league makes. I played St Helens on the Saturday when I got back, and we got beaten by 60. So,
Jesus.
Just before we touch on Tommy Raudonikis, we got a question about that. I just want to say, I don't think, if people don't know that game, that 2001 game, you didn't just have... you weren't just there. You had a blinder.
I was very happy, and I knew it was a one-off, so I just had to go out and, play to the best of my ability, which I still had confidence in myself to do it. And I was happy with the way I was playing over in England, and I had no injuries, so it was just really good to come back and play in that game.
One of my first memories of watching footy is that overhead.
Oh,
the overhead try.
So I was lucky to get that one, but in saying that, it was just a great team game. And
how old were you then?
I was 35.
Wow.
Yes.
People talk about Joey 05, Alpha 01.
Yeah, but it was wonderful, and I enjoyed it. It was just a really great week, and as I said before, it was the best football week of my life, and something I'll never ever forget. And in saying that, I was lucky enough. I finished up with Warrington that year and come back and had a year with the Broncos in 2002. So that was another dream come true.
Can we? You mentioned Tommy Raudonikis, the late great. Can you talk about that relationship that you had with him? Because obviously it was quite special.
Yes, he first came and coached me up the Ipswich Jets. So we formed a very special relationship once he started coaching there, because I used to love watching him play, because he was one of the most competitive players you'd ever see play the game. He was tough. Probably didn't have the best skills, but certainly tough and compete. And that's what he instilled into me over them couple of years at the Jets, and certainly he was the one that pushed for me to be in that 87 Origin when Wayne Bennett didn't want me. And Wayne Bennett was a coach then, but I was lucky Tommy and Dud Beattie, who was a selector from Ipswich, they pushed for me to be in that side. And even Tommy being a New South Welshman, he pushed me to be in that side, and I was lucky enough to get it.
And how would you describe Tommy off the field? Similar to yourself, or?
Yes, he had plenty of character in him, Tommy, and certainly was the life of the party wherever you went. And, he's up there now probably looking down us, having a beer and having a good time. But in saying that, whenever you had a party or a function or an Ipswich Old Boys get together, you'd be laughing from the time you got there to your time you left, because Tommy just created that aura about himself and the people around him. Always looked after his mates.
Closest Blues player to being a Queenslander, Tommy, or if we
he's a Blue. He's a Blue.
he's a Blue.
He's a tough bugger, and just to see the way he played. But certainly he's a great team man, and certainly he wouldn't be out of his right. He wouldn't want to play for Queensland, because he loved the Blues that much.
He was old school, wasn't he?
He was.
He loved it.
And certainly when he coached the team, he wanted the team to win, and he was a winner.
I just wanted to touch on Warrington, your time there. I'll never forget it. I was quite young here, and there was 2 Warrington fans downstairs in the main bar, in the front bar, and they were watching you play on TV, an old Warrington game in the Super League. Yep. And where they're wearing jerseys and thick accents and really nice guys, lovely blokes, and they were like, oh, there was Alfie, and you walked in you'd been at a lunch, I think, next door, and you'd walked in and they're looking at the TV and they see you walk in, and they go, just double take, and they could not believe their eyes. And you go up, they go, Alfie, and you go up to them, how you going, boys? And like, you know, as you do, you spend a good half hour with them, and it would have made their whole day.
Well, they're your supporters, and I do that with any Bronco supporters or any supporters you have over wherever you go, because they're the ones that have put you where you are, and they're the one that, you know, go and pay their dollars to go watch you play. So I've always got time for the supporters, and as long as they're not over the top and, you know, full of drink and carrying on and want to fight you or push me up on a table, I'm all for it, and it's great to see. And I love my time at Warrington. They had 2 good years, taking the family over there, another country. I never ever wanted to go to another side, but I was lucky enough to play over in England and had 2 good years there.
Where did that stem from? Like, why the appeal to go over there?
When I retired here, I sort of had that couple of months off, and Darryl Vanderveld, which is a great mate of mine, he was coaching Warrington at the time, so he rang me. He rang me straight after I retired, and I said no then. And he rang back a couple of months later, and then I agreed. So I'm glad I did agree. I had such a good time over there, and just taking the family over, the kids at school, and just a new country to live in. It was pretty.
And it's a completely different game, isn't it? Like,
well, it's still
style?
Style. It's more open, but in saying that, you still got to train hard, and there's still a lot of tough games. So you got to turn up ready to play, otherwise you're going to get beaten. As long as, you know, it's like here, you got to train and prepare every week. You know,
can they make those in goals bigger?
Yeah, well,
didn't they do that because of you?
No, they didn't. No? Because a lot of fields over there are pretty short, and they're like soccer grounds.
Soccer fields, yeah.
Yeah, so
I used
not
to
a lot of big in goals.
Because your grubber was so good, and they would make it shorter, so you couldn't grab her into the in goal.
You just had to shorten the grubber up, mate.
Yeah. The amount of people that go flying into that,
and the boards at the end of the field. Yeah, it's terrible, but we're lucky there hasn't been too many serious accidents out of it.
Yeah, remember the Brett Morris one?
Brett Morris one,
Oh,
because Old Trafford, it goes down the little bank into the So he flew into it. So he was lucky he didn't get injured.
Yeah, he was as a Queenslander, he was a New South Welshman that was just a ripper. Is there anyone from sort of New South Wales or any other player you played against that you wish you played with or you respected?
Oh, I just respect them, mate. I respect the players, and I think the best thing about the games, you got to be sports. You know, you got to show that sportsmanship after a game. Like, you want to beat them, and I've played against a lot of great halfbacks. Just to name a few, it's Peter Sterling, the Steve Mortimers, the Greg Alexanders, Jeff Toovies, Ricky Stewart's, Andrew Johns, of course, just to name a few. But they made you lift your game, and you wanted to play them week in, week out, because it just made your game better. But in saying that, I'm happy enough for them to be in the Blues side. But as I said before about sportsmanship, you wanted to go and beat them. But after the game, I was happy enough to shake their hands and have a beer with them and have a good time. And when we were on the Kangaroo tours, and there was a little bit of a difference. But once you got on that tour and got involved with them and
got to know them,
become mates, it's a different ball game.
You realise they're exactly like you.
They are.
You taught to hate them, but you realise, we're just footy players and we're the same blokes.
We're all human, and we want to have a good time and enjoy each other's company, and that's what we did on the tour.
Yeah.
Did any Sydney NRL teams ever come knocking?
No, I was lucky enough, not really. So I was happy enough to.
You didn't want to move south.
I was happy enough to stay here. I nearly went to the Gold Coast I think it was the Seagulls back then in '92. I got offered to go down there when Wally was going to be the coach, but I was lucky enough. I stayed at the Broncos and we won the comp that year. So right decision for once.
Who was your favourite off-field companion?
Here we go.
I got to say Kevy Walters. I roomed with Kevy most of my life and grew up with him in Ipswich, and certainly great mates and still great mates today. So, we had a lot of good times on and off the field and out and about.
Yeah, still do.
Yeah, still do, and certainly we enjoy a good time together and take the piss out of each other and annoy each other. But that's life. That's two little boys.
As you do. Now, brought this up, Alfie, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But a few weeks ago, there was a dish licker running around at casino called Alfie Langer. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it, and I got a lot of texts and a lot of photos of when it won.
Yeah, it won at $51.
I know.
And I thought, shit, I should have known having Alfie come on board.
And that was just after the Origin game. I think it might have been that day after the third game.
I couldn't believe it saluted.
Yes, it's one of those things in dogs, but...
So that was my question. Have you ever had any other weird shit that you've heard of named after you?
Not really, no. Not really. Do you know?
Well, mate, when I saw that, I thought, righto, if there's Alfie Langer running around, there might be something else.
Yeah, no, I've heard of a couple of kids over in Papua New Guinea, and that's about it.
Right, called Alfie.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, but they're football mad, football crazy over there. That's their national sport.
Yeah.
But to go there, it's just a great eye opener, and just see the people. They're so lovely, and the kids are so beautiful. It's just wonderful to go over there and show your talent, but just to see how much they love rugby league, it's pretty special.
Could they get a team over there, do you reckon, one day, or
I think
too hard?
I think it'll be very tough for them over there. They play in the Queensland Cup, which I think is probably their level at this stage.
That's their national sport over there, only country in the world. What's ours? Cricket? Ours cricket?
Yeah, one off. Yeah.
We just won the Ashes. So
yeah. We heard you were a good cricketer back in the day.
Junior cricket, I was...
Fancied yourself?
I had a fair...
You were quite good.
I was okay. I played for Queensland 16s, and I sort of started playing seniors in Ipswich, but I had to choose one or the other when rugby league, so I was lucky.
Yeah.
I went rugby league. But,
Bat or bowl?
I was a batsman, yeah.
Opened? Where would we find you?
Opener first drop. So
what do we think of that Bairstow stuff? The whole stay in your crease bullshit, carrying on.
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit of a carry on. You watch the replay and Carey threw the ball straight away, so I think he was out of his crease. So, and I think he's been known to do that before. So there's a few more stories, around that.
And now there's all the stuff coming up of Bairstow doing similar things.
Doing the same shit.
Yeah.
But he was out, so that's a game of cricket.
And now they're whinging about it raining.
Yeah, well.
Fucking pongs.
You got to take the good with the bad, mate.
I remember that wasn't that you played that test out at was it ANZ as well or something? No, there was a Queensland charity test or somewhere where Fatty took that catch.
Oh no, that was at the Gabba.
Was that the yeah?
That was Alan.
I don't know why I said ANZ.
No, that was Alan Border's testimonial.
Yeah.
Well, Cal Ruckerman's was out at ANZ, his testimonial, but Alan Border's there. And actually, I bowled the ball that
Fatty
caught. Fatty he's the most uncoordinated cricketer I've ever seen, or catcher, and he caught that right in front of the can shop as well. It was just an amazing thing. He'll never ever do that again. But that'll go down in folklore.
Yeah.
Is that the greatest athleticism you've ever seen Fatty perform? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, he's never.
He's never run so fast.
Very clumsy, and to see him catch that, it was just amazing. I don't think he can believe it.
No.
Yeah.
DCE, you just broke your Origin record for most consecutive games in the number 7 jersey for Queensland. Can you just talk to us about what DCE does for the boys?
Getting back to leadership again, he's been great. He had a rough start to get into the Origin team. He's in and he's out, and then he was on the bench, and then he was out. But he's worked really hard in his game, and he's been a great player for Manly over the years. But in saying that, to what he's brought to the Queensland team, he's been very consistent and certainly a great leader in his own right, and certainly the captain of our team, which is great to see. And he does a good job on and off the field and around the boys in camp.
Who do you think's putting their hand up for captain? Can you say moving forward, or Paddy Carrigan, or? Yeah,
well, Paddy Carrigan, he's doing a great job at the Broncos, and he's a great leader in the camp. But you got Cameron Munster, you got Harry Grant, you got some great talent in that Queensland side. So there's a number of players, but someone will have to come up over the years. I'm sure Daly's not finished yet. So
he had a good series. That was one of his better ones.
He had a wonderful series, and just seeing him play with Manly yesterday, just some of the uncanny tries he set up and what he can do in a game. He's still got it. So I I wouldn't be writing him off yet. I can see a couple more years in him.
Is there anyone that you see coming up in the Origin ranks? So I was going to say as well, we have unbelievable depth in the Origin sort of team. Is there anyone coming up that you think?
I think it's the best depth we've had for a number of years. But in saying that, Jeremy Nino, I see he got injured on the weekend. He's going to be a very good player. Our wingers were great.
The Hammer.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, I think Hammer's one of the players that has improved over the last couple of years. So I think he'll be there for years to come. And he's been a great buy. And I speak to Wayne Bennett about him. He's a lovely lad. You're never going to get any trouble out of him on and off the field. So he's just been a great buy for Redcliffe. And to see some of the tries he's done already this year, and even with the Queensland team. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be here for years to come.
Just a good grammar boy, isn't he?
And then you got Reece Walsh.
He's a freak.
He's a freak. And as we mentioned earlier, I think he's only at the start of his career. I'm sure we're going to see a lot bigger and better and some great games out of him yet. You
can kind of see that he's got more to give, I think. He's not quite reached. Obviously, he's still young, but he's got more potential. It's crazy.
And he's just a footy head. He loves his footy. He watches all the other games and he studies the other team. So, and that's what you want to see in a player. And he's great. He's got a few rough edges. He's got a bit of character in him, which I love. I love in a player. Yes, and
he's passionate.
He is very passionate, and he's just loves the same thing. He loves winning. He loves winning and loves having a good time. It comes back to the enjoyment part of the game.
He is like a Bronco sort of born and bred because he started at the Broncos, then went to the Warriors.
Yeah, he went to the Warriors, but I think he realised and he did the wrong thing by going, and he just won. And the biggest thing for me was he wanted to come back to the Broncos.
Yeah.
And he come back there for lesser money, and to see what he's doing it's great to see.
Yeah.
Will the Slater effect, do you think, really bring him on, spending 6 weeks with Billy?
Oh yeah, Billy. He reminds me of Billy Slater the way he started, but I think he can get better if he applies himself, and injuries do play a big part in your career, but looking at him now, seeing, and the people just love him. Whether they're young girls, old girls.
We know the female boys. Audience are all over him.
Oh, they love him, and he does. He does a great job with them on and off the field as well.
Isn't Darbs training him?
Yeah, Darbs. Darbs does a lot of work with the back five, so he does a lot of work with him as well. So, and Darius is one of the best fullback wingers, around.
Yeah.
So he's doing a great job with him as well.
And
it's just to keep him level-headed. That's a big thing. And
he was the king of the 3-on-2. I reckon Darbs. He picked it every time.
Yeah, he was wonderful at fullback, but you see him play winger in them Origins and tests. He scored so many tries. He was just always on the spot.
Yeah, I reckon Hammer's going to overtake that with. You get 4 in 3.
Well,
as a centre.
Yeah, Hammer's been, as you said, he's been wonderful, and he's going to be there for years to come. And he's got a lot of improvement in him as well.
Do the boys get stuck into Paddy Carrigan about not scoring a try yet? Does that get spoken about?
That happens every training game, mate.
So Alex Twell's got it off his.
Yes, he's got it
done.
So Paddy's.
How do we get him over?
He's looking for a nudie run at the end of the year.
He'll be doing nudie runs the rest of his career if he keeps this up.
It's not looking good for him, but he's such a great player. I just can't believe he hasn't scored yet.
Well, he sets him up. Do you know out the back there, kind of, or no?
Oh, yeah, he's part of the league. Yeah. But, I just can't believe he hasn't scored a try yet.
What have we got to do?
Oh, well, we'll have to... I don't know what we got to do. But he's just got to hang around Reece Walsh a little bit more.
I don't know if Reece would pass it to him on a 2-on-1.
I don't think he'd catch up to Reece Walsh. That's a problem.
And we want Payne Haas to stay.
We do. Everyone wants. And
surely the Bulldogs can fuck off.
Yeah, we hope so, mate. But he's a Bronco through and through. And I personally, I can't see him going.
Neither.
I see what the Broncos have done for him and been involved with him, and he loves being at the club. He's got some great friends there. He lives around the area, so I just can't.
Does he live in Ashgrove?
I think he's at Red Hill at the moment, but I can't see him going.
Yeah,
good. He's too good a value, and I personally, the Broncos shouldn't let him go either.
No, I agree. Can we just ask, like, when you're out the back there running the water, are you passing on a message, or are you giving your own intel, or are you going rogue? What are you doing?
They're Kevy's messages when we lose, and they're mine when we win. No, but I'm going out there just relaying messages down from the coach's box. So,
do any of the other teams get salty at you, like spit the dummy, or do you just tell them to fuck off? What do you do there?
They don't get salty at me. They've got their own trainers out there, so they're out of there as much as me.
Good.
It's just everyone notices me out there thinking more than the others.
Anyone you want to spray water at sometimes?
Oh, not really, mate.
No?
Not really. I just worry about our own team. Not too worried.
You're
about
not yelling 6 more songs when you're out there, are you?
I hadn't had too many vodka Red Bulls before a run.
Now, there's a game we like to play on this show, all right? Now, tell us how you think. It's called Would You Rather Belt, Bender or Beer With, all right? Now, it's a category. So there's 3 different categories.
I'm listening.
I've got the first one is journos, all right? So you've got Brent Reid, James Hooper and Buzz Rothfield.
Oh, Buzz Rothfield, you just want to belt. Although you just want to belt them all, really, don't you?
That's what I mean.
Some of the bullshit they go on with.
So we'd belt them all?
Yeah, belt them all.
Righto. Now, the next one's the Matty Johns show. We got Matty Johns, Hindy and Fletch. Belt, Bender, Beer With.
Oh, Beer With, definitely. Fletch and Hindy, and Matty Johns, they're all great. They're great guys. And
so you've got a belt one, you've got to go on a Bender with one, you've got to have a beer with one.
Okay. Matty's a smaller, so I'll belt him. Bender with Hindy and what's the other one?
Have a beer with Fletch.
And have a beer with Fletch.
Yeah.
And then the last but not least is the OG footy show, which is Fatty, Sterlo and the Chief.
Fatty, Sterlo, okay. Belt the Chief.
He's out of your league, I think.
He's an old man now. Yeah. I'll have a beer with Sterlo and the Bender with
the fat man.
With the fat man.
Yeah.
You probably would have.
He's not a big drinker these days, but
the fat.
If you got a Bender on him,
you're in for one.
Oh, you'd have a great time.
We watched some videos before. He can get away with anything on Channel 9.
Oh, he does. Some of the things he said, it's like Fletcher and Hindy.
Yeah.
Oh.
They get away with everything.
Have they ever asked you to come on the Matty John show?
I'm not sure, but I'm not I haven't got a head for TV. I'm podcast head.
Yeah.
That's like us, mate.
The 3 of us, mate. We're on the same
voice
page.
for podcast, head for one.
Yes. Which is very good.
Oh, that's pretty much it.
That's it, mate.
Yeah.
I think we knocked off our list here, but
unless you've got any stories you want to
I never got any stories I divulge away from home, so yeah. But it's been great, and as I said, I love the Caxton. I love how they look after us, and love looking after the Broncos in Queensland. It's a pub for Queensland. Brisbane's.
It's the Premier.
It's Brisbane's rugby league pub.
Yeah, awesome.
I will say, I'm grateful. Obviously, you coming on, and I'm grateful what you do for
the Bronx,
the Bronx and Queensland, and what you do for the pub. Like how you sort of you bring everyone back here and do your thing. I'm grateful, and my family's grateful, and I think a lot of the other thing is the people see it, and they see you driving it, and they see the players here, and they look up to them. Like you said, that's the game wouldn't exist without the fans and that, and the punters, and to have them here, and people come up to me and they see you and the team, they love it. Like they honestly,
do. And the boys enjoy it.
Yeah,
deep down the boys enjoy it, but they're just worried about coming out everywhere. But I know it's a safe place for them coming in, and they enjoy it. They still want to go out and have a beer after a win and a good win.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they should be able to as well, with not having to worry about people filming them and stuff.
And it's a tough one, but the fans out there, they love it as well, and most of the players are on social media these days too. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So if you got to be out there and doing the wrong thing, maybe you shouldn't.
You got to own it.
Well, yeah, you do, and if you can't handle your drink, or you got to think you're going to get in trouble, it's time to go home.
Can I ask who was best on ground after game 2 up here, besides yourself, mate? Because I know you'd give yourself.
I won't give myself a rap.
I knew he would.
I was just trying to get another hour out of the boys. But Paddy Carrigan wasn't too bad that night.
Jai Arrow have a crack?
Jai Arrow always has a crack. He's mad, but most of them had a good time. We're only here for a couple of hours, so it was just the enjoyment part of it. No one, was over the top, so it's just enjoyment. And as I said, 6 more songs would have been nice if we.
So you didn't even get 6 more songs.
We didn't get
We
them
got
out.
one.
We got one. We got one out.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline, which was one of my favourites.
Yeah.
So I had a few tucked up my sleeve, but we didn't get them out.
Mate, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Honestly,
you.
thank
Thanks,
you very
guys.
much. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Our first guest.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.